Hi guys, welcome to From My Journal with FeyiFaye. It's 2024 and it's time for revamping, The podcast from season 1 to 3 was Notes from My Journal with FeyiFaye. And it's time to change one or two things, the dynamic of the podcast. And that's why we are here. I'm recording in so you can see I'm right on the floor. I have one of the mats here, this cute cozy fluffy footwear that you're gonna see a lot of the time. It's gonna be our very own baby, so we're gonna be doing classic cozy, if that makes any sense, right? So we know we have classic casual, we have official dresses, so it's gonna be classy cozy. I moved a lot. Story we're going to dive into over time. And what else? We don't have a couch yet. We don't have a chair yet, but we'll get there. So I want this to be like a journey, right? A journey of how the podcast progresses and how we go forward. It's going to be very consistent this time. If you listen to the last episode in season 3 was just like 3 episodes or something. I said that I was going to take a step back, and when I come back, I'll explain reasons why I took a step back, right? So I'm in a different place right now. And while we speak, I'm going to speak about the journey and why we are here. Well, I keep saying we. Who are the we? Will I say me and my team? Okay, I had to get a team because I didn't want to do this on alone. I wanted a good structure, and that's why I was in touch with 1 or 2 people, and I decided that instead of trying to make things perfect, getting a couch, a nice table, and all of that, we can just start small. The podcast is about being my real self, right? And how the journey goes. So we can start small and take it from there and see how it goes. So today, it's the beginning of the new year. 1 or 2 things I would like to discuss about is about why the fresh start, why the transitioning. So I feel like let me start speaking about why I had the podcast in the first place. It's not something I think I've discussed on here. It's just a snippet here and there. So in 2020, we all had major events. There was a pandemic, right? And 1 or 2 things, we were all at home and we had to look inward to find ourselves. Most people did. We started introspecting and figuring out who we are. That alone time was a lot for me, and I was able to use that, transfer that energy into journaling. Also, not to put aside a major breakup. The one where you feel like it's the one, right? So anyway, we'll dive that into that on another episode. I even have a black journal, like that. I call it the messy journal. The messy journal has everything and everything undiluted. That was the one that now made me have journals that were structured and beautiful to listen to. And that's how Notes from My Journal was birthed. And as a result, I realized that journaling is a way to express oneself, and it's beautiful. I struggled a bit, like, what should I write? How do I write it? Let's be honest, I didn't really struggle because I knew what I wanted to write. I was just pouring out my heart out. But when I wanted to transition into a more positive outlook of life, when I'd already, is the word regurgitated or pushed out all the energy that wasn't serving me. I was taken aback. I really did not understand how I could go from there. But with the help of, so many resources, I was able to start journaling positively. So it's in the works. I feel like there's so many people out there who are also, always sometimes thinking like, I really want to journal. I really want to express myself through writing. How do I go by this? Yeah, I think one day, very soon, I'll be able to share that insight to my listeners and to everyone who enjoys the podcast. And so it's a new fresh start of the year. And we're going to put in a lot of work into it. I'm just checking my notes. I know I'm a bit rusty. I take it from me. I am a bit rusty. And so pardon me if I, here and there, I'm like catching my breath. So the reason why Notes from My Journal is rebranding to From My Journal podcast in 2024 is because it's actually from my journal. It's notes from me. It's still notes from my journal, but it encompasses so many things. In the past, we have interviewed a few people, a handful of people that we have interviewed, and they've shared their experiences. It's also about the journal. The podcast is also about experiences of a person of color, an expat who's lived abroad for years, and also sharing the experiences of meeting people, food and culture, how to navigate the workspace as a person of color, as a foreigner. It could be anything, as a black woman, how to climb the corporate ladder. I've been in the corporate world for more than 10 years now, and I think I think it will be a service to someone if I can share a bit of my experiences in that part to encourage one person who's in the land who's not their own, and they're trying to make it their own. So I shared about how Notes from My Journal started, and why I'm rebranding in 2024. Also, the vision for the podcast is to ensure that we grow as a community. Yeah, that's very important. We grow as a community. We connect on social media as well as we enjoy the podcast. Because it's you and me that is here. It's you and me. If it's not you and me, who else will it be, right? So I know it's dark and you can see my shadow at the back, but you know what? It is what it is, and we're starting. I told myself that today I am starting the podcast. I do not care what challenge I face, but today the podcast will be recorded, and that's exactly what we're doing. I'm so excited for this journey, and I'm really open and so I'm so excited for this journey, and I'm really open and so I want to double down on consistency this year. Like double down on consistency, grow the following on social media, following our listeners, fan base. This one is not fan base. Which one is fan base? This is community, like you and me, friends from all over the world, where we can always, relate. That's the word. It's not easy out there. Another reason why I created the podcast was that I looked for people like me who had experienced what I was experiencing, and I didn't find. So I was like, I think the missing piece is me. I listened to a lot of podcasts. They were relatable, but it didn't hit the nail in the head as much as I wanted it to be. So I'm like, wait, are there not so many other people who want to hear what I've experienced? Because if I myself, I'm looking for myself, I don't know if that makes any sense. Like, I'm looking for someone who can relate to the experiences that I've experienced, and I'm not hearing it. Why not just step out, and be the voice for the people? I know. Does it make sense? Yes. I think it makes sense. So that's why we're here today. And so what's new for 2024? I want us to engage more. Like I said, we have a target to a number of following on our social media platforms. We want to get as much more people guests on the podcast. And also, I would like to be a guest on other people's podcasts. So if you have any podcast you want me to jump on and be a guest on, I have invited, I've had a few people who are podcasters on my channel, and it's time for, I would also like to be on the podcast of other people's channels. So there's a lot to unpack here, and I really do hope and wish that it's going to be a great year for everyone. It's always a time to restart. The thing is, I realize is that when you want to restart something, you don't restart when the time you're supposed to restart. You're supposed to restart before the day and time you want to restart. There's always a lot of preparation that comes into restarting, right? And yeah, that's basically more like it. As we speak, it's all transitioning, but we can grow while transitioning, right? Life does not end. We are all growing as we're all growing as the world is navigating and everything. So we always have to, keep at it. So now, notes from my journal is From My Journal podcast. From My Journal with FeyiFaye. So I hope you enjoyed this first episode, and see you again.